she also talks about how, this is a beautiful narration actually, because one of the things that Abu Bakr did, he actually built the first mosque in his own backyard. Wow. I don't want to say garden, backyard, right? He built the first mosque, or so for all the prayers, he used to lead the prayers in the back of his house. And what started happening is the slaves and poor people and different people, they would hear his recitation and they were so attracted to his house. They would all turn up for the prayers. And this was bringing more and more people to Islam. So the Quraysh put a ban out. They said no praying in public. Okay. So Aisha talks about this. She says, since I reached the age when I could remember things, I've seen my parents upon the religion. Right, so she only knew her parents as Muslims. Not a single day passed, but Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, visited us both in the morning and in the evening. This was his best friend, right? When the Muslims were persecuted, Abu Bakr set out for Habasha as an immigrant. So there was a point when they were stopping Abu Bakr from praying in public. Things got so bad and oppressive for the Muslims that, of course, the Prophet allowed people to migrate to Abyssinia, okay? Which is like modern day, I think, Ethiopia and possibly parts of Somalia and Eritrea. Yeah. And so he allowed them to move there because there was a Christian king there who was very just and nobody would be wronged in his kingdom. So Abu Bakr had actually set out for Habasha himself. But when he reached a certain point, just outside Makkah, Ibn ad-Daghina, who was a chief of the Qara tribe, she says, he stopped him and he said, "Where are you going, Abu Bakr?" And Abu Bakr said, "My people have turned me out and I would like to travel in the earth and worship my Lord freely." Right? And Ibn ad-Daghina said, "Oh, Abu Bakr, a man like you should not be turned out of his land. Right? You help the poor. You keep good relations with your kith and kin. You help the disabled and dependent people. You provide for guests with food and shelter." Of course, Makkah always had guests because people were always traveling in, And you help people during their times of trouble. And so he said to him, "I will be your protector." Okay. And do you remember I told you that in Makkah there was a system where, almost like a visa system, okay,
oh, yeah.
where in order to be able to stay, you had to have a certain status of protection, right? Now, remember, the Quraysh had kind of removed or stripped all protection from the Muslims. So they were kind of persona non gratas. They were in that kind of situation, right? Especially after the death of Abu Talib, because Abu Talib was the Prophet's uncle. He was the leader of the Banu Hashim clan. And while he was alive, the Prophet still had, even though they boycotted them and stuff, they couldn't kill him. They couldn't, there was a certain level they couldn't go to, when it came to persecuting them. But now that Abu Talib had passed away, many Muslims it was like open season on the Muslims, It was only a matter of time that they would try to assassinate the Prophet as well. So here, Ibn Daghina is saying, "I'll be that sponsor or that protector, for you, Abu Bakr, because I have the status in the city, so I can be that for you. So go back and worship your Lord at your home." This is what he said. So Abu Bakr actually went back. So he had planned to leave with his family. He went back. And it says, Aisha narrates, Ibn ad-Daghina went along with Abu Bakr and took him to the chiefs of Quraysh, saying to them, "A man like Abu Bakr will not go out, nor will he be turned out. Do you turn out a man who helps the poor earn their living, keeps good relation with kith and kin, helps the disabled and dependents, provides guests with food and shelter, and helps the people during their troubles?" So Quraysh allowed Ibn ad-Daghina's guarantee of protection and told Abu Bakr that he was secure, and said to Ibn ad-Daghina, "Tell Abu Bakr to worship his Lord in his house and to pray and read what he likes and not to hurt us and not to do these things in public." Okay, so that was their thing. Like, fine, do it in your house, just don't do it in public. For we fear that our sons and women may follow him. That's what they said. Okay. Ibn ad-Daghina told Abu Bakr all of that. Abu Bakr continued worshipping his Lord in his house and did not pray or recite Quran aloud except in his house. This is a hadith in Bukhari, by the way. And then it goes on to say, later on, Abu Bakr had the idea of building a mosque in the courtyard of his house. He fulfilled that idea and started praying and reciting Quran there publicly. The women and the offspring of the pagans started gathering around him and looking at him, astonished. For Abu Bakr was a soft-hearted person and could not help weeping while reciting the Quran. This horrified the pagan chiefs of Quraysh. They sent for Ibn al-Daghina, right? So they called on his protector. And when he came, they said, we've given Abu Bakr protection on condition that he will worship his Lord in his house. But he has transgressed that condition and has built a mosque in the courtyard of his house and is offering prayers and reciting Quran in public. We are afraid that he is misleading our women and offspring. So go to him and tell him that if he wishes, he can worship his Lord in his house only. And if not, tell him to reject your pledge of protection, as we do not like to betray you by revoking your pledge. And nor can we tolerate Abu Bakr's public declaration of Islam. So then what happened is Abu Bakr said to him, I don't need your protection. God is enough for me as a protector. Wow. He revoked his protection. I think that's a good place to end this session, actually.
The cliffhanger. What happened next? Oh no, we're going to have to wait next time. Gosh, yeah, that's extraordinary. I have not heard that story, actually. So this is very, very interesting. Gosh. Okay, we're going to leave it there. Until next time, it's 1 hour. That's what we agreed. So thank you very much indeed, Fatima, for your all your fascinating details and discussion and the history and the clarity of your exposition and the cliffhanger for teasing us. No, but that's fair enough.
Yeah. So next time, brothers and sisters, we're going to go into what the circumstances around the Hijrah, how Aisha herself migrated.
Yeah.
And then we'll go on from there. You know, how she began living with the Prophet. And I've got some wonderful pictures for you guys of models of the house of Aisha, you know.
Wow.
The house of Aisha that the Prophet built, which when you look at the green dome in Medina, right?
Oh, yeah.
The famous green dome. Directly underneath that green dome was the house of Aisha.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So inshallah, we'll continue that next time.
Oh, fantastic. Look forward to it very much. Thank you so much. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum.